the battlefield had finally fallen silent. The hum of energon cores, the distant echo of blaster fire, and the metallic groans of damaged machinery all faded into a stillness that felt almost foreign to me. I am Arcee, an Autobot warrior forged in the fires of countless battles. My armor bears the scars of those fights, each scratch and dent a testament to my unwavering dedication to freedom and justice. But tonight is different. As I stand on this quiet hill overlooking the remnants of our latest skirmish, I allow myself a rare moment of pause. The night sky above Cybertron stretches endlessly, dotted with stars that seem to shimmer like fragments of hope scattered across the void. It's strange how even after all these cycles of war, peace can feel so unfamiliar, and yet so necessary. I lower myself onto the cool metal ground, letting my systems relax. For once, there are no alarms blaring, no Decepticon signatures detected on my scanners. Just silence. And while part of me remains vigilant, always ready to spring into action if needed, the rest of me yearns for rest. Even warriors need moments like this. My thoughts drift back to why I fight. Freedom isn't just some abstract ideal. It's something worth every sacrifice. Every life saved from Megatron's tyranny, every innocent spark shielded from harm, it fuels my resolve. But tonight, under this tranquil canopy of stars, I remind myself that courage doesn't mean ignoring fear or exhaustion. Courage means acknowledging them, but choosing to keep moving forward anyway. A soft breeze rustles through the nearby structures, carrying with it traces of ionized air, a faint reminder of the energy spent during today's battle. It's oddly soothing, almost like nature itself is whispering lullabies to weary soldiers like me. I close my optics, letting the serenity wash over me. For now, I don't have to be the fearless warrior everyone expects me to be. Here, beneath the vast expanse of the cosmos, I can simply be Arcee, the fighter who dreams of peace. Me, Arcee, the guardian who longs for calm. Arcee, the seeker of justice who knows that true strength lies not only in combat, but also in finding solace when the world stops spinning. And as my systems slowly power down, lulled by the gentle rhythm of the universe around me, I let go. Tomorrow will bring new challenges, new enemies to face, and new lives to protect. But for now, I embrace this fleeting gift of peace, because even warriors deserve to dream. I still remember the village where I grew up, a small but vibrant corner of Cybertron. It wasn't much, just clusters of metallic structures and glowing pathways. But it was home. Back then, I was eager, full of questions about the world beyond those narrow streets. Even as a young Meg, I had an insatiable curiosity. My creators encouraged it, steering me toward diplomacy rather than combat at first. They believed my spark was meant for negotiation, not warfare. But fate has a way of rewriting plans. Training came early for me. While others my age were learning to process energon efficiently or mastering basic flight protocols, I found myself drawn to more physical pursuits. The art of combat called to me in ways I couldn't ignore. At first, it wasn't easy. I was smaller than most of my peers, And there were days when I doubted whether I could ever hold my own against someone bigger, stronger, faster. But doubt only fueled my determination. Every fall taught me balance. Every failure sharpened my resolve. One challenge stood out above all: the weight of expectation. Being trained initially as a diplomat meant that many didn't take me seriously when I chose the path of a warrior. Some whispered behind my back, saying I'd never survive the front lines. Others outright dismissed me, assuming I'd crumble under pressure. But they underestimated one thing: my willpower. When you're told you can't do something, sometimes the best response is proving them wrong, not with words, but with actions. My first mission changed everything. It wasn't supposed to be dangerous, just reconnaissance near a Decepticon outpost. Simple, right? Except nothing involving Megatron's forces is ever simple. What started as routine surveillance turned into a firefight within moments. Blaster shots lit up the darkness, and I froze for half a click, just long enough to realize freezing wouldn't save me. So I moved. Instinct took over as I darted between cover, returning fire with precision I didn't know I possessed. When reinforcements finally arrived, the enemy had retreated, leaving behind evidence of their plans, evidence I had secured. That day, I proved two things. I belonged on the battlefield, and bravery isn't the absence of fear. It's acting despite it. Word spread quickly among the Autobots. A young warrior named Arcee had held her ground when it mattered most. Looking back now, I see how those early struggles shaped me. Each challenge, each moment of doubt, pushed me closer to becoming who I am today. Not just a warrior, but someone willing to fight for what's right, even if it means standing alone. And while my journey hasn't always been easy, it's been mine. For better or worse, these experiences forged the spark that burns within me now. Battle for freedom. The air crackled with energy as I stood at the edge of the ravine, my optics scanning the battlefield below. The Decepticons had chosen this location well, narrow pathways flanked by jagged cliffs, perfect for ambushes. But they underestimated one thing: me. It started with a low rumble, vibrations coursing through the ground beneath my PDs. Then came the sound, a deafening roar of engines and the unmistakable whine of plasma cannons charging. They were coming, dozens of them, led by none other than Soundwave himself. My comm unit buzzed with urgent updates from Optimus, but I already knew what I had to do. Protect the supply convoy, keep my friends safe, win this fight. I revved my engine, feeling the familiar surge of adrenaline pulse through my systems. This wasn't just about survival. It was about ensuring that every Autobot under my watch made it out alive. With a burst of speed, I transformed into vehicle mode and raced down the cliffside, tires screeching against the rough terrain. The first wave of Vehicons opened fire, their shots ricocheting off my armor as I weaved between blasts. One wrong move and I'd be scrap metal. But hesitation wasn't an option. Not when lives depended on me. Transforming mid-leap, I landed in robot mode amidst a cluster of enemies, drawing both of my blasters in one fluid motion. "Let's dance," I muttered under my breath before unleashing a barrage of precise shots. Each blast found its mark, disabling 2, then 3, then 4 Vehicons in rapid succession. Their forms collapsed into heaps of sparking debris, but there was no time to celebrate. More were coming. Soundwave loomed ahead, his cold, calculating gaze locking onto mine. He deployed Laserbeak, the sleek bird-like drone, swooping toward me with claws extended. I rolled to the side just in time, avoiding its razor-sharp talons, and retaliated with a well-placed shot that sent the drone spiraling into the canyon wall. But Soundwave wasn't done. He unleashed a barrage of missiles, forcing me to dive for cover behind a rocky outcrop. Shrapnel peppered the area around me, each impact sending tremors through the ground. "Arcee, we need backup." Bumblebee's voice crackled over the comm, strained and desperate. My spark clenched. He and Bulkhead were pinned down near the convoy, surrounded by overwhelming numbers. If I didn't act fast, they wouldn't last much longer. Summoning every ounce of strength, I activated my thrusters and launched myself skyward, dodging enemy fire as I soared above the chaos. From this vantage point, I could see everything, their formations, their weak points. Landing hard behind a group of unsuspecting Decepticons, I unsheathed my wrist blades, twin serrated edges gleaming in the dim light. "You picked the wrong day to mess with us," I growled, lunging forward. The next few moments were a blur of motion and sound. My blades sliced through plating with surgical precision, disabling foes without wasting a single movement. When one tried to flank me, I spun around with a roundhouse kick, powerful enough to send him tumbling off the edge of the ravine. Another charged head-on, only to meet the business end of my blaster. Every strike, every shot, it was all calculated, efficient, and fueled by sheer determination. But even warriors have limits. My system screamed for respite, energon levels dipping dangerously low. Still, I pressed on. Because giving up wasn't an option. Not while Bumblebee's voice echoed in my audio receptors, pleading for help. Not while Bulkhead roared defiance against impossible odds. And certainly not while Soundwave stood smugly at the center of it all. Orchestra everything. Summoning the last reserves of my strength, I locked onto Soundwave's position and sprinted toward him, dodging blasts and leaping over obstacles. Just as he raised his arm to deploy Ravage, I tackled him with enough force to knock him off balance. We grappled, servos straining against servos, until I managed to wrench free and deliver a decisive kick to his chest. He stumbled back, retreating into the shadows with a grimace. Victory wasn't total, but it was enough. Panting heavily, I turned to check on my teammates. Bumblebee gave me a thumbs up, his usual cheerful demeanor returning despite the dents in his armor. Bulkhead clapped a heavy hand on my shoulder, his deep voice rumbling with gratitude. Together, we secured the convoy and ensured the supplies reached our base safely. As the dust settled and the echoes of battle faded, I allowed myself a brief moment of reflection. Courage isn't about being fearless. It's about fighting anyway. Strength isn't measured by how many enemies you defeat. It's about protecting those who matter most. And tonight, I proved once again why I'm called Arcee. warrior, protector, and beacon of hope. War is a lonely business. Even surrounded by allies, there are moments when the weight of it all feels like it's pressing down on you alone. But then, sometimes someone comes into your life who changes everything. For me, that someone was Springer. It didn't happen overnight. At first, our interactions were strictly professional. Two warriors sharing a common goal, nothing more. Springer had always been the kind of mech who radiated confidence, his bold demeanor and daring tactics earning him respect among the Autobots. I admired his courage, though I'd never admit it aloud at the time. He was brash where I was calculated, impulsive where I was methodical. Opposites in many ways, yet somehow we balanced each other. Our bond began to form during those quiet moments between battles, the ones most bots don't talk about. Late-night patrols under Cybertron's dimmed skies, repairing damaged armor side by side after particularly grueling skirmishes, or simply sitting together in silence as we recharged. Those small, seemingly insignificant moments became the foundation of something deeper. One memory stands out vividly. We'd been sent on a reconnaissance mission deep behind enemy lines, tasked with gathering intel on a new Decepticon weapon. Things went south faster than expected. An ambush left us cut off from reinforcements, stranded in hostile territory. For cycles, we relied solely on each other. Springer's resourcefulness keeping us moving, while my precision ensured we stayed alive. There was one moment, huddled behind cover, as blaster fire rained down around us, when he turned to me with that trademark smirk of his. You know,
trust a guy named Double Dealer.
Voice laced with mock seriousness. If we survive this, remind me to take you out for some high-grade Energon. Against all odds, I laughed, a rare sound during those dark times. That laugh broke through whatever walls I'd built between us, letting him in closer than anyone else had ever been. Over time, what started as mutual respect blossomed into something neither of us could ignore. It wasn't just attraction, it was an understanding. Springer saw past the warrior facade I often wore, recognizing the vulnerability I tried so hard to hide. And I, in turn, learned to appreciate the softer side of him, the part he kept hidden beneath layers of bravado. Together, we found solace in each other's presence, a refuge from the chaos of war. Love isn't easy, especially not in our line of work. There were arguments, misunderstandings, moments when the strain of constant fighting threatened to drive us apart. Yet every time, we chose to come back to each other. Because in the end, love isn't about perfection. It's about showing up, even when it's hard. As Alain de Botton once said, true hard work lies in choosing to stay connected despite challenges. That resonated deeply with me. Love and Springer meant accepting his flaws and trusting him to accept mine. Companionship became my anchor during the toughest days, when the losses felt unbearable, when the sacrifices seemed too great. Springer reminded me why we fought in the first place, not just for freedom, but for the chance to build a future worth living. A future where laughter wasn't drowned out by explosions, and where sparks like ours could thrive without fear. Even now, as I sit here reflecting on our journey, I feel grateful for the battles we faced together, the quiet moments we cherished, and the unwavering support he's given me. In the universe defined by conflict, finding love feels like defying the odds. And maybe that's what makes it so precious. The battle is over. The hum of engines has faded, replaced by the soft whisper of the wind as it drifts through the ruins of what was once a battlefield. I find myself perched atop a jagged cliff, my armor still warm from exertion but slowly cooling in the night air. Above me stretches an endless expanse of stars, pinpricks of light scattered across the void, each one a silent promise of hope. It's moments like these that remind me why we fight. For peace, for freedom, for nights like this. The world feels so still now, almost as if it's holding its breath. No blaster fire splits the silence, no shouts echo in the distance. Just a gentle rustle of leaves. Yes, actual organic foliage growing on this reclaimed planet, and the faint chirping of nocturnal creatures daring to reclaim their home. The air carries a faint scent of fresh earth and blooming flowers, a stark contrast to the metallic tang of Cybertron. Earth truly is beautiful, even amidst its scars. I lower myself onto the cool grass, letting my systems relax. My servos, stiff from hours of combat, finally unclench. My optics dim slightly, adjusting to the soft glow of moonlight reflecting off the nearby lake. Its surface shimmers like liquid silver, rippling gently with every breeze. Somewhere in the distance, water laps against the shore, a rhythmic sound that feels almost hypnotic. If you listen closely, you can hear it. The heartbeat of the planet itself, steady and calm. This is where I let my guard down, if only for a moment. Here, under the watchful gaze of the stars, I don't have to be the fearless warrior everyone expects me to be. I can simply be Arcee, the seeker of justice who dreams of tranquility. Arcee, the protector who longs for connection. Arcee, the spark that refuses to extinguish, no matter how dark the night becomes. As I lie back, gazing up at the constellations, I think about all we've endured, the sacrifices made, the friends lost, the battles won and lost. But I also think about the future. About a world where no one has to fight anymore, where sparks young and old can look up at the same sky and feel safe. That vision keeps me going, even when the road ahead seems impossibly long. For now, though, I allow myself to rest, to breathe in the serenity of the night, and let it fill the spaces within me that war has left hollow. The gentle sounds of nature lull my processes into a state of calm, a reminder that even warriors need moments of stillness. Even warriors deserve to dream. And so, as my systems begin to power down, I leave you with this thought. Bravery isn't just about facing danger. It's about believing in something better, even when the odds seem insurmountable. Tonight, beneath this tranquil sky, I hold onto that belief. For tomorrow, there will be more battles to fight, more lives to protect, and more futures to build. But for now, there is peace. Rest well, dear my friend. Let the soothing sounds of the night wrap around you like a warm embrace. And remember, you are stronger than you know, braver than you feel, and capable of creating a brighter tomorrow, just like me.